Welcome back to another edition of Scene Stealers, where we talk about our favorite scenes with our favorite actors. Today, we are blessed to have a legend and a Massachusetts boy, Mr. John Slattery, with us. Woo!
Go Beantown. Tough week in Boston, man.
Yeah, nothing going on in Boston sports.
Wow.
It's a bummer. Yeah.
Wow.
We are here to talk. We're here to talk a lot of movies, but we're going to start Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pest.
All right.
But your character introduction in this is fucking unbelievable.
It's so funny.
It's so great. It's directed by David Wain, written by David Wain and Ken Marino.
Yeah.
Take me through this. How did you join this project? Because you worked with Wain and Marino.
Hamm texted me. I was in Budapest doing Nuremberg, which came out this last year. And,
What a great movie that was.
Yeah, that was fun. In the middle of the night, jet lagged, and I got a text from Hamm saying, David Wain is looking for you. He has a part. And I think he might have said, I'm going to do it. You should, or something like that. And I was wide awake at 1 a.m. and I read it in like an hour and a half and texted Wain and Marino. And because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Said, I'm in. Figured, because those guys have made a lot of movies. And, sometimes you hear, we're gonna try to make a movie and then nothing ever happens. But it actually happened.
This one happened quick?
Yeah, pretty quick. I think we started in the spring or summer, June of the same year. Anthony Bregman produced it, and for a movie of that size with that schedule, like it never felt tight. Like it never felt like, guys, we got to go, because David Wain is so multi-talented that he can.
What he's so good at is he takes like these crazy ideas, these crazy concepts, such as Wet Hot American Summer, and there's so much going on, and it all comes together. And
Yeah.
there were a couple times in the movie where you're like, there is a lot happening,
Yeah.
and it always comes together.
Yeah.
And you are such a perfect through line in this movie in particular, where
That's good.
there's parts of it where I was kind of like, I'm not sure in the first 20 minutes or so, and then you come in, and the rest of the movie is just fucking hilarious. It's so funny. It's like firing on all cylinders. And your character, you're playing yourself. You're playing John Slattery, because Zoey Deutch, Gail Daughtry, is looking for John Hamm to fuck.
Right. That's right.
Now you're playing.
That's it. That's the log line.
That's the log line.
Zoey Deutch looking for John Hamm to fuck.
Well, it is fantastic. It is out now. Please go check it out in theaters. Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pest. It's incredible. It's a great, great, great fucking time. Go see it in theaters.
Oh, hey, man. Forgot to ask you. Hey, Phil Salviano said he sent a bunch of info over to the Globe years ago. Do you have any idea to who?
No, why?
Well, I'm just curious. I wanted to see if there's any leads you guys didn't run out.
Salviano was a fucking train wreck 5 years ago, Mike. We didn't miss anything. This story needed spotlight.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just following up.
Good night.
I love that scene. This is my favorite
I've seen
movie.
that scene since I saw it the first time. I think
That's your first time seeing it since then?
No, yeah, since it came out. Yeah.
Really? That's my favorite movie of all time, I think. I watch it probably every 3 months. I think Keaton's insane in it. I think it's just incredible. But that scene in particular always sticks with me. I really love it. And to me, that scene is Mark Ruffalo's character, Mike Resendiz, a Fall River boy.
Right.
He's kind of like telling you it's okay. Do you feel that? Is that accurate? Like, you to me were representative of all of the Boston people who had gotten evidence but didn't believe it. Like, didn't
want to believe it.
Couldn't conceptualize it.
And then the number kept rising, and I think that's one of the sort of comedic, benchmarks. And it goes 13 priests, and then they, I think it's going to be more, and then cut to me. I'm the 90 fucking priests,
Right.
or whatever. That was a additional scene. If my memory serves, that scene was not in the original script,
Really?
and we went back to Boston and shot it later.
No kidding.
I believe so.
That's crazy that it's an addition, because it really, I don't know why, I don't know what it is about it, but your reaction when you're like, this story needed spotlight, and him going, yeah, I know. Like it to me feels like all of the people who figured it out telling the people who missed it, going, yeah, this is a crazy story. It's okay that you missed it. And
I think then they did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, despite what I say there, that they didn't, there were leads they didn't run down because, for obvious reasons.
The Robbie Robinson, Michael Keaton's character, he has a similar situation where it's like, oh fuck, I had
made a
also
mistake.
gotten some stuff
Right.
that I'd missed.
Right, it's been
And
a long time since I've seen it, but that's correct.
I think it was interesting to see the younger people telling the older people at the Globe, like, it's a crazy story. We understand that this was hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Because I imagine a lot of people in the Boston area needed to hear that at that time.
I mean, it was a huge. I mean, as we all know, I was just saying to you before we started that my mother, at some points in her life, when she was going through difficult times, would go to church every day.
My grandmother wouldn't go on Sunday. She said that was for the casuals.
Yeah.
She went Monday through Saturday.
So trying to explain, as we got closer to releasing the movie, there were stories written about it, but people didn't know the extent to which it exposed this scandal.
Right.
And my mother was, what are you doing? What are you doing to us here? Why are you? What are you doing here? And I was like, you'll see. And it's a good film, and it's not a gory film. It's a thriller about the tracking down of this story. It isn't about pedophilia.
No. It's interesting you're saying that you
because that's what people were freaked out about, and I think they were like, "Is this going to be like I'm going to watch, somebody,
No,
doing
it's
things
about
that I don't want to watch?" And it's about the uncovering of the story.
And I feel like journalism, which doesn't get the best reputation in this day and age, but I feel like journalism has the best spot for movies. I feel like, maybe it's just me personally, but like a movie about journalism, a movie about finding the truth in these deep, deep, dark secrets, such as this, All the President's Men, those are like my favorite kind of movie. Those are I love. And I think you guys just did truly an incredible job with this movie.
That's great. It was a great experience. Being in that room with all those people, and some of this, all of it had been said by these people, the real people. Marty Baron and Robbie and everybody. It's just that the interviews were over a period of years, months or years. So you were trying to sort of put it all into a scene and say, well, if you say that, so there was some sort of, there was molding and shaping there was a couple of rehearsal days, but also on the day, you'd be like, well, if he says that, I don't need to say that. Even though I actually said it, just trying to shape the thing into a movie scene.
Mm-hmm. Very tough.
So it was really, to the minute. It was a very absorbing process.
Yeah. It was also insane. I remember I don't believe you were in this scene, but like when Rachel McAdams, and they're kind of going around there knocking door to door.
Yeah, Brian Darcy James.
The way a church is looming over everything. Every door they go to in the city of Boston, there's a fucking church looking over it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just really, really great work. Really incredible
Tom
stuff.
McCarthy. Really good, director, really smart.
Excellent director.
Yeah.
Paz, what we got next, bud? Oh, here we go. This is your scene that Mr. Slattery brought in for us here. Charlie Wilson's War, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Let's see it.
So I want to know why I'm not going to be your Helsinki station chief.
Your course.
Excuse me.
For Helsinki, I need someone with diplomatic skills. You don't have them.
Is that right?
That is right, and I don't know why the hell I didn't fire you when you broke my fucking window.
Oh, yes, sure you do, Cravely.
Look, Gus.
Yeah, you're fucking Roger's fiance, and you know I know.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
Yeah, you're dignifying her in the ass at the Jefferson Hotel, room 1210. But let me ask you, the 3,000 agents Turner fired, was that because they lacked diplomatic skills as well?
You're referring to Admiral Stansfield Turner?
Yeah, the 3,000 agents, each and every goddamn one of them first or second generation Americans. Was that because they lacked the proper diplomatic skills? Or did Turner not think it was a good idea to have spies who could speak the same language as the people they're fucking spying on?
Well, I'm sorry, but you can hardly blame the director for questioning the loyalty to America of people that are just barely Americans in the first place.
Yeah, well, I'd like to take a moment to review the several ways in which you're a douchebag.
Get the fuck out of my office!
Yes, sir.
Before I end your career, asshole.
Yes, sir! Yeah, my friend, I'm gonna need you for a second.
God damn it!
Great scene.
Great scene.
Yeah.
I was just thinking while we were watching it, of Ethan Hawke talks about working with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
And he was talking about doing a scene with him where before it, he'd walk around and he was kind of like, this isn't right. And he kind of looks for things that don't really fit. Was there something like that with you?
We did a read-through, a giant read-through, because it's a huge cast. Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, people from all over the world.
Crazy.
PJ Byrne, who's a buddy who's in the Rainmaker. We do the read-through. Mike Nichols says, okay, thank you, everybody. We'll see you all soon. We're going to go rehearse a couple scenes. We're at Paramount. And we go, all right, you guys are up. And then, so our scene was the first scene to rehearse. And we go through a little door in a giant, soundstage, empty soundstage. And there's another empty soundstage with a limousine, an office set up, with just like random furniture and tape on the ground where the door would be and stuff. And we do the scene. And Mike goes, let's crank up the heat a little bit just to see just to see what happens. So we start doing it like this, screaming at each other. And we finish and we're all like, oh. And Mike goes, yeah, I think that's pretty much where it lives. And so we knew what the scene was gonna be. And then Phil, who I didn't really know that well at the time, we lived near each other, but he would sort of smoke and walk around outside. And I think that was like my first day on the movie. And so I was, I don't know, hanging around, trying not to shit myself. and then we would, it was back and forth. I mean, you can hear my voice is shot by the time we finished it because I was blowing it out. I kept jumping his line and we'd go, you're motherfucking, he goes, I have another fucking line. I'm like, fuck, and sorry. And we go back and we keep, and just staying up on that level, but like, let's go back. Okay, fuck. And then we had to do it twice because he couldn't break the wind because the wrench wouldn't break the breakaway glass.
Oh, really?
So we had to do that twice.
I mean, like when Philip Seymour Hoffman is obviously considered one of the greats of all time, I feel like this is one of the scenes too.
At one point, Mike Nichols, we were waiting for another setup, and he was talking about Phil. And this was before they'd done Death of a Salesman together. And then I made a movie that Phil starred in that I directed, God's Pocket.
Yes.
And we hadn't done that yet. And so I didn't know him as well. Mike was talking about, he goes, someday you're gonna be one of those people who when they line up the movies, you're like, how is that the same person? And he starts crying, like, getting weepy because he was an emotional guy. He would laugh, he would cry. Like he was that kind of I don't know, his emotions were that sort of close to the surface. And it was it made everybody else emotional. And Phil was there, and I think Phil was like, oh, gee, or whatever. But that's how strongly Mike felt about him. And I think this was because this was so much different than stuff that he had done before. He looked different. He played the whole thing. He was just great.
You were really like, you talk about how his emotions are right here. In this scene in particular, he has the funny, he has the angry,
Yeah.
he snaps into rage. Like it's really...
He really was capable of doing so many things at once.
Up next, we have another funny scene.
God, I haven't seen any of this stuff.
Come on, you haven't seen this one?
Since the day of.
People like you are succeeding because Americans are fed up with the status quo.
Exactly. They're tired of the direction this country's headed in. They want to return to our past glory. They want an American Renaissance.
I like what I'm hearing, Steve.
And you're gonna love the sound of this. Goo Goo Gaga Jack.
What's that?
That's the theme of my campaign. Renaissance means rebirth. I want to usher in the rebirth of this country. That's why the theme of all my campaign commercials is, I'm a baby.
Unbelievable cameo. Like, for real, I'm a humongous 30 Rock fan. I watched this live. How do you even, because I think that episode was 2009. So you're a famous man. How do you get into that? Is that like...
Sitting at my sister's kitchen table in Situate, and I got a text from Tina Fey.
Get out.
You want to come and do an episode? Somebody obviously fell out, and it's like it shoots like the day after tomorrow.
That's how quick it is.
And I got nervous like right away. I was like, oh fuck! And then I had to read. I read it. I think I read it on my phone, and I was like, of course. Yeah. Because it was such a funny scene. I haven't seen that scene since. In fact, I've never seen that scene.
Get out of here.
That's crazy.
Dude, that like for real. Like,
it's such a funny It's so beautifully written.
30 Rock's insane. 30 Rock it's my Always Sunny in Philadelphia and 30 Rock are my two
incredible,
insane shows.
Alec is so great, so much fun. He would never cut. He would go, all right, he'd laugh. I would do something and he would go, ha ha ha. Okay, stop. Okay, keep going. Give me the glass of milk back. And then okay, do it. Here, shit, give me the glass of milk back. And then he would he would just keep going, and the take went on, and then they cut it together, and it's all like, he's kind of like this, and just do it. It looks so smooth, but he would go, and meanwhile the air conditioning wasn't working in the building. Oh God! So he would go, he'd be like, here, give me a glass of milk back. Hey, Steve, I believe the first AD's name was Steve. He's going, Steve, what's with the fucking air conditioning? And he goes, well, Alec, we're trying to fix it. He's like, yeah, well, okay, give me the glass of milk back. And then they would, going and going and going. And then we do basically it's like one long take. We finished, and he said, tell the guy, whatever he said, something like, tell the guy who's supposed to fix the air conditioning to go fuck himself. And he walks out of the door, and we were like he got a little angry about it. And I look over at the director, and it was a guy I've known for a long time, and he's like, his mouth's hanging open. And Tina is like, she was there, but just watching the scene because she was writing. Like, she would come off stage, and they'd give her an assistant or somebody would give her laptop, and she would just sit down and start writing whatever scene, the next scene, whatever. The compartmentalization she was capable. I mean, I think she had 2 little kids. I mean, it was incredible, but she would just sort of shake her head and go, yeah. And then I had to go downstairs to wait while they turned around or something, and Tracy came upstairs and said, I hear Alec is on the warpath or something. It must be Tuesday or something like it was always like that.
Yeah.
It was there were a bunch of volatile, or big personalities on that show.
That show in particular has, 8, 10 main cast members that I imagine it gets pretty volatile at times.
Yeah, so funny.
Did you enjoy getting to flex your New England accent, I guess, a little bit there?
Somebody shit on my accent.
Really?
Can you imagine?
You're like, I'm a Mandarin.
I'm like, I am actually from there.
Last one, pals. We got, what do we got? Mad Men, baby. Roger Sterling.
This I've heard of.
Real quick before we get to the next scene, this summer, one Celebrity Hall Pass sparks an epic Hollywood adventure. It's called Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. It stars Zoey Deutch, John Hamm, John Slattery, who's on this episode. Directed by David Wain, director of Wet Hot American Summer, Role Models, unbelievable. It is fantastic. It is so funny. It's full of hijinks, adventures. We got Gail, obviously, partner, has sex with his hall pass. She goes on a quest to find hers in LA. It's obviously John Hamm. She works up with John Slattery on the way. She links up with Hollywood assistants, paparazzo. She escapes Italian hitmen, played by Joe Latrugo, who's amazing. It's fantastic. It's like a weird, twisted Wizard of Oz where Zoey Deutch wants to fuck John Hamm in the end. It's crazy. It's awesome. Go see it. Out July 10th from Sony Pictures Classics. Go see Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass.
You don't know how to drink, your whole generation. You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
Unbelievable scene. That I feel like that is
Writing, man.
so perfect for and maybe it's
that generation, It
speaks to every generation, but I feel like currently that's those conversations are happening right now. That the young generation doesn't drink, that they don't understand what being a man is. Do you think that just happens every generation forever?
Yeah, there was I think I had a line in the back in the Bible. They go, kids these days, the loaves and the fishes or something. There was some reference to every generation does the same thing.
Yeah.
But they were the generation that won World War II and went through hell doing it, and then a couple of generations later it was the 60s, and so. Yeah, I can see why my father's generation would think that we were a bunch of pussies because we didn't go through. They did that so that we wouldn't have to. Mm. So it's a sort of a double-edged sword. But yeah, there wasn't time for all that. You signed up, you fought a war, you came home, you took the uniform off, you put a suit on, and you figured out how to make money. So there wasn't a lot of navel gazing or like, what does it all mean?
What am I going to be?
What am I? Yeah. And why isn't it? There wasn't time. Mm-hmm. I don't think for those guys to think that way. And he had his name on he inherited everything he got, but he was smart enough to keep his name on the door.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think he feels very strongly about his service and and how proud he was of it, and it goes through the whole series. Like, we do business with the Japanese and Honda, I guess, and he's like, there's no fucking way and that was, that generation spoke about the Japanese to their deaths like that. It was a different time, and they went through a different situation. In the relationships were different. International relationships were different. So that's what that guy went through. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: Roger, obviously a big drinker. The Guinness socks here.
The Guinness socks.
You're a drinking man.
Yes.
See what I love.
Not
that
right
much,
now, but there's a whole bar in the other room.
The scene, what Roger delivering that speech, I just love people talking about drinking romantically.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite thing. I really, truly like it. I think it's such an important part of culture and community and public house and all that stuff. And watching that scene reminded me of one of my favorite scenes when I was young. The movie Legend of Bagger Vance. You know that movie?
I do.
Matt Damon, Will Smith. Matt Damon plays a character named Randolph Juna, who has a speech very similar to that, just about how, I guess, important alcohol is. Important it is to community. And he says something along the lines of, he's talking to the boy Hardy, and he says, Hardy, we're drinking in here, and drinking kills brain cells. but that's okay because you got millions. And the first ones that go are the sad brain cells, and they make you smile real big. And the next brain cells that go are the quiet brain cells. So everything you say is real loud. And after that are the stupid brain cells. So everything you say is real smart. And after that come the memories brain cells. And those are tough sons of bitches to kill. And like, I remember being like in middle school being like, that is how you talk about drinking right there.
That's such a good riff.
But that reminded me, like watching that, I very much remembered Matt Damon and Randolph Jr., where it's just talking about drinking is just fucking nice.
You know that it's a play called You Can't Take It With You, I think, where there's a guy who's a drunk, but a functioning drunk, and somebody asked him why he drinks, and he goes, why do I drink? Because I don't like being half dead. Because I like, and he's a whole long, beautifully written monologue about why he drinks. Because some of us aren't poets. You know, and you're drowning your sorrows to some degree as well, or it just makes you feel better about who you are.
Yeah.
Or takes the edge off who you aren't.
Go check out Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. It is in theaters now. John Slattery, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
True
man. That was really
fucking
fun.
honor, man. You're the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.